Okay, so every time we've long divided so far, it's been fairly easy because things have been lining up correctly, because we have been given polynomials that have every term. For instance, it has an x cubed, then it has an x squared, then it has an x, then it has a number. But what if it has an x cubed and then it's missing its x squared term, like this first example? Things won't line up then when we do our multiplying. And so in order for things to still line up, we might have to put in what they call a placeholder. Okay, so for the missing term, we insert the term 0x squared in this example. So now it has a cubed term, a squared term, but it has a 0 as a coefficient. So 0x squared is really 0, which means it's really not there. So it's just a placeholder. It doesn't change the polynomial's value at all. Okay, but it makes things line up. It makes the subtraction a lot easier for us. All right, so let's take a look at number 1. And it says use polynomial long division to write each of the following in what we call our quotient remainder form. Okay, so in number 1, we're going to go ahead and have x plus 2 be long divided into our polynomial of 3x to the 4th. And right there, guys, you're supposed to recognize that there's no cube term. So we're going to insert a plus 0x cubed. And then we do have a squared term, so that's good. But again, we are missing an x term, so we're going to put in a plus 0x. And you guys don't see what that's going to do right now, but you will, all right, minus 5. Okay. So here we go. What we need up at the top is a 3x cubed. So that 3x cubed times x is 3x to the 4th. 3x cubed times 2 is a positive 6x cubed. And right there, you guys can see the importance of the placeholder. If that 0x cubed wasn't there, our x cubed term of 6x cubed would be falling underneath our negative 2x squared, and therefore we can't subtract them because they are not like terms. All right, so it keeps things lined up. So 3x to the 4th minus 3x to the 4th cancel. 0x cubed, 0 minus 6 is negative 6x cubed. Okay, we're going to bring down that negative 2x squared next. And up at the top, we're going to need a negative 6x squared. So that negative 6x squared times x is negative 6x cubed. Negative 6x squared times 2 is negative 12x squared. We'll put up our minus sign. We'll subtract. First set of terms cancel. And negative 2x squared minus a negative 12x squared is negative 2 plus 12, which is 10x squared. And we'll bring down our next plus 0x. Yep, we even bring it down, okay? And up at the top, we're going to need a positive 10x. So that 10x times x is 10x squared, and 10x times 2 is 20x. Okay, we'll go ahead and subtract. And we're going to end up with 10x squared minus 10x squared, which cancel. And 0 minus 20x is negative 20x. We'll bring down our last term of negative 5. And up at the top, we're going to need a negative 20. So that negative 20 times x is negative 20x. And negative 20 times 2 is negative 40. We'll put our minus sign. Our first set of terms will cancel. And negative 5 minus a negative 40 is negative 5 plus 40, which is 35. And there's nothing left to bring down, and so that's our remainder, okay, which means x plus 2 is not a factor. It means negative 2 is not a 0, okay? But they didn't ask about that. That was kind of yesterday's stuff. But they do want us to write our answer in quotient remainder form, okay? And we're tight on room, so we're going to kind of squeeze it in here. So we'll say 3x to the 4th minus 6x squared plus 10x minus 20 is our quotient, plus our remainder, which is 35, over the divisor, which is x plus 2. And there is our answer. Okay, number 2, same kind of work here. And so we're going to have our 2x plus 3 be our divisor. And underneath we'll have a 4x cubed, but right there you should pick up that we don't have an x squared term, so we're going to add in plus 0x squared. We do have an x term and then a number term, so we are good. Okay? And now things should line up with that placeholder in there. Up at the top, we're going to need a 2x squared. So that 2x squared times 2x is 4x cubed. The 2x squared times the 3 is plus 6x squared. We'll go ahead and subtract, and the first set of terms cancel. 0 minus 6 is a negative 6x squared. We'll bring down that positive 5x. And here we go. What do we need at the top? We need a negative 3x. Oops. Okay, so that the negative 3x times the 2x is negative 6x squared. Negative 3x times 3 is negative 9x. We'll go ahead and subtract. And our first set of terms cancel. And we have 5 minus a negative 9, which is really 5 plus 9, which is 14x. We'll go ahead and bring down our plus 10. And up at the top, we need a positive 7. So that's 7 times 2x is 14x. And 7 times 3 is 21. We'll go ahead and subtract. And the first set of terms cancel, leaving us with 10 minus 21, which is negative 11. And now we can go ahead and write our answer in quotient remainder form. So our quotient is 2x squared minus 3x plus 7 plus our remainder, which is negative 11, over our divisor, which is 2x plus 3. And so what this means to me is that we have a remainder of negative 11. Okay, that 2x plus 3 is not a factor. That x equals negative 3 over 2, right, would not be a 0. All right, number 3. It says if p of x equals and d of x equals, express p of x divided by d of x in quotient remainder form. So same thing that we've been doing, it's just set up a little bit different. Okay, but we're going to take d of x. It's our divisor. We'll put it out front. And we'll long divide 9x to the 4th minus 15x to the 3rd. And right there, guys, you need to recognize that you don't have an x squared term. So we're going to add in plus 0x squared, so things still line up. Okay? And then we do have an x term, so plus 19x, and then we have our number. All right, guys, up at the top, we're going to need a 3x cubed. So that 3x cubed times 3x is 9x to the 4th. 3x cubed times negative 2 is negative 6x cubed. We'll go ahead and do our subtraction. First set of terms cancel. Negative 15 minus a negative 6 is negative 15 plus 6, which is negative 9x cubed. We'll bring down our placeholder. And back up at the top, we're going to need a negative 3x squared. So that negative 3x squared times 3x is negative 9x cubed. Negative 3x squared times negative 2 is a plus 6x squared. Go ahead and subtract. First set of terms, cancel. And 0x squared minus 6 is going to be a negative 6x squared. We're going to bring down our plus 19x. And back up at the top, we need a negative 2x. So that negative 2x times 3x is negative 6x squared. Negative 2x times negative 2 is a plus 4x. We're going to go ahead and do our subtraction. First set of terms, cancel. 19 minus 4 is 15x. We'll bring down our last negative 7. And up at the top, we're going to need a plus 5. So that 5 times 3x is 15x. And 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Put our minus sign. First set of terms cancel, and we're left with a negative 7 minus a negative 10, which is negative 7 plus 10, which is 3. There's nothing left to pull down, and so 3 is our remainder, which means 3x minus 2 is not a factor, which means x equals positive 2/3 would not be a 0. Okay, and they just want us to have quotient remainder form. Okay, so our quotient would be 3x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 5 plus our remainder, which is 3 over our divisor of 3x minus 2. And there is our answer. All right, hopefully that's good. I'll see you guys on the back side of notes.